There comes a time in every Bitcoin bear's life where he has to wake up, stop shorting Bitcoin, and accept that we're not going to see a 10K and below Bitcoin unless the world completely explodes. Right now, as the Bitcoin price actually has a mega bust, mega attempt to try and reclaim the $30,000 level, honestly quicker than I would expect. However, we're going to get into exactly why that is happening, and it is not necessarily in the charts. So this is very big for Bitcoin. But before, I just kind of want to zoom out, take a look at Bitcoin for the entire year of 2023, right basically where the Gaussian channel turns green on this chart. And you can see there were some scary moments specifically at the beginning of March. But what happened at the beginning of March is, again, we're seeing these effects right now. And I think Bitcoin's real moment to shine is coming up a lot sooner than people expect. As you guys know, I've actually been longing Bitcoin. I've been showing the trades like pretty much every video for the past couple of months. I'm currently not actually at a computer, so I don't have any of that pulled up, but I believe I'm about $24,000 USDT in profit right now. If you're interested, you can sign up below as well. Actually, announcement at the end of the video also. But specifically, I want to dive into some data here. So Bitcoin bears literally trying to save money to keep shorting Bitcoin by feeding crickets to their daughters so they can save money, not spend it on groceries so they can continue shorting Bitcoin. That's how down bad they are. But if we take a look here, Charlie Bolello here, the US money supply has fallen 4% this year, or over the last 12 months, the largest year-over-year decline on record. M2 actually goes back to 1959. So this is the largest decline since this data has been available, basically like 70 years ago. 60, 70 years ago. Completely bananas here. And another big thing about the money supply contraction that we're seeing right now is something we haven't seen in 90 years. The Great Depression, 1929 was the last time, then the Depression of 1921, the Panic of 1893, and the 1870s banking crisis. All of these had unemployment rates north of 10% and massive bank failures. And I actually want to talk about that in a second. But with unemployment upticking slightly, right until the lagging effects of tightening and economic slowdown kick in, and then the jobless numbers spike pretty much every single recession. Again, I think we're going to see these jobless numbers really start to uptick. The Fed has been waiting for that to happen, and we haven't seen it, which is one of the reasons they've been so adamant and strict about their continued rate hikes. We're going to be getting one in less than a week at this next meeting, which is going to be very, very telling and very important for these markets. And will we get a 25 basis point hike? Will they pause? Well, we are seeing already cracks in a lot of things. And this is kind of what I just talked about a couple of minutes ago. With the money supply contracting, it's a massive economic warning, according to Nick Gurley. Supply contraction has not happened in 90 years, basically since the Great Depression. And it's something, there's a lot going on here, and it's not related to crypto, but crypto seems to be taking this, again, continued from last month, at the beginning of March, when we first saw the banking crisis begin. We're seeing crypto start to continue to act as a psychological and fundamentally safe place for people to store their money, especially over the long term, right? Bitcoin absolutely is volatile, but what do we have here? First Republic Bank down another 35-40% today. If it was a crypto bank, it would have been assassinated weeks ago. It hasn't, and this is just a double standard with the current climate and the current government and the current administration. Keep in mind as well, I talked about trading, but funding is negative on open interest on an open interest weighted basis. Bulls are being paid by bears to be long. And that's another thing. People ask, for keeping longs open, do you have to pay, or is there fees? Not always. If open interest is negative like this, then you can actually be paid for longing. And as I stated at the beginning of the video, I'm actually currently, I believe, about $25,000 in profit there. But also with Femex, this is a limited thing. I have 25 spots available for a whitelist where if you sign up with my link and trade, there's 25 whitelist spots where you will receive XPT, which is Femex's exchange token. It hasn't been released yet, but you'll get it for free. So there's really no downside. It's just 25 spots available for people that sign up with Femex below, and you receive XPT, so you can accumulate that for trading. When you trade, you accumulate XPT, and then when the token is released, whatever the value is, you can either hold on to it, dump it, whatever you want to do, but it's free, just something that 25 people can benefit from right now. But again, taking a look at Bitcoin's weekly chart here, it looks very interesting. So we actually just had a cross here. If we zoom in, you can see we had this bearish cross, and I personally believe that mainly because First Republic Bank is doing horrible, and these fears, rightfully so, of banks continuing to get crunched will continue. I think that's why Bitcoin's doing well. And again, that's my favorite narrative. If Bitcoin starts always performing well every time there's fears with banks and with money contraction, with inflation, if Bitcoin starts doing well, that is the ~1 best case scenario in my opinion. So I love seeing that. As I was saying, I was going to add, I was planning on adding more to my long positions around 24, 25K per Bitcoin. But obviously, I'm still long. So that kind of tells you what I feel about the market, is that I'm overall, over the next couple of months, I could see this turning very bullish here. If anything changes, I think we would, I would obviously talk about that, and I would, be something we could follow along with. But right now, again, Bitcoin overall, it looks decent. It does absolutely need a bust above 30K, which we haven't quite seen yet. In fact, that's where we've gotten rejected so far. But honestly, at any moment, we could see that. But I'm really interested more than anything in watching to see if the First Republic Bank collapse. If we do see that, I'm very curious to see if First Republic collapses, if there will be ripple effects across the banking sector, which I think there will be. And I think that there's a lot of, like we talked about a month ago, there's over about 200 other banks that could see similar situations here. And the risk is still there. Just because we don't hear about it for a couple of days or a couple of weeks doesn't mean that everyone's good and the banks are fine. The risk is still there. We're walking on a tightrope right now. And it seems like if that tightrope would break, or if these banks start collapsing, so far, again, this has never happened before in history as long as Bitcoin has existed, but it seems like so far Bitcoin would benefit from something like that. And I think the reason is clear why. If you've been in Bitcoin for more than 20 minutes or done more than 5 minutes of research, you understand why Bitcoin was created, and that the possibility of it really, really shining in a moment like this is a very realistic, rational, and very likely scenario the longer time goes on, right? If it doesn't happen by next month, it will happen eventually, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's just a matter of time. It could be next month, could be next year, it could be 5 years from now. I personally don't think it'll be that long, but I think it'll be, obviously, I think sooner than that. Considering that the people in charge of money, in charge of anything, don't really seem to know how to manage money. But if you are interested in trading, there are links below in the description. And it is first come, first serve for those 25 people that sign up with my Femex link below, where you will see free XPT just for trading. And you can then, when the token is live, you can do whatever you want with it. Without any further ado, that's it for me. Bye-bye.